How many times have you started a new health routine, kept it up for a week or two, then had it fall apart only to blame yourself because you don't have enough discipline? I want you to stop saying that to yourself because it is not true. Every single one of the women that I work with are not lacking discipline. They run households, they have careers, they have kids. They do it all, supporting everyone around them at the same time. This is not a discipline problem. This is a system problem, which is awesome because that is a lot easier to fix. Hey, my name is Paige. I'm a certified personal trainer, yoga teacher, and life coach. And I don't believe that willpower is the answer. I believe the systems are. You can know all the right things to eat and all the right ways to move, but if you don't have a structure that's actually going to allow you to do that within your life, it is all going to fall apart, and willpower will not save you. Starting over is exhausting. It's emotionally exhausting, it's physically exhausting, it chips away at everything that you have to give to this goal that you have of being healthier, of being happier. That cycle is what's keeping you stuck. It's what was keeping me stuck for a very long time, and it is why I'm doing this, because you don't deserve to be stuck somewhere when you have everything that you need within you. You just need to know how to put it together. So by now we already know that this is a habits-based thing, right? Like you have to have habits integrated as part of your lifestyle. But why, every time you try and do this, do your habits fail? It's because they were designed for someone else's life, for a life of someone who probably doesn't exist, for some perfect, everything happens on schedule when it's supposed to, everything goes according to plan life that you don't live. You're following a workout routine for someone who's been working out for 10 years when you've never been to the gym before. You're following a diet plan of someone who has no eating restrictions when you can't eat dairy and you don't like fish. You're probably following the weekly routine of a woman who has a very low stress job and no kids when you're in fact a powerhouse with a bunch of kids at home. That's why it's failing. That's not your life. Every time it doesn't work, you see another one that resonates a little more or a little differently, and you think, cool, I'll try that one. So every week it's a new habit, a new change, a new shift, and you are so exhausted from putting in all this effort, none of which was designed for you. It's not that the habits don't work. They clearly worked for that person, or at least hopefully the people on the internet aren't just blatantly lying to you, but it doesn't work for you. There's plenty of research in habits, and small habits done consistently will always win out over huge, big changes made. So here's a framework that I use with all my clients. Shrink it, stack it, protect it. So number one, shrink it. Literally just make it smaller. Your first habit should not be, I'm gonna do 3 one-hour workouts this week in the gym. It should be, I'm gonna get to the gym. It should feel so embarrassingly small that you can't fail at it. A big part of what we need to do is build up the confidence that what you say you're going to do, you're actually going to do. You need to get all the happy hormones of like, yeah, I did the thing that feels good, because that then gives you the momentum to do the next one and do the next one and keep kind of building to the point where going to the gym 3 times a week feels super easy and you have no idea how that happened, which is something that I hear more often than you would believe. The point here is to identify with the habit that you're trying to create, and you can only identify it if you have momentum and evidence. So make it embarrassingly small. No one said, I'm going to brush my teeth 14 times a week and then started doing it. It was like, I'm going to brush my teeth before I go to bed. I'm going to get up the next morning and I'm going to brush my teeth. You just need to keep doing the little thing every day until you don't even have to think about it. You are just someone who brushes your teeth. I'm clearly not talking about teeth brushing. If you can shrink the habit, then you're going to identify more with the habit. And if you have the identity of someone who takes care of herself and does the things that she says she's going to do, then it doesn't really matter what you put your mind to, and you don't really need willpower. You just get it done. Small and then grow. If this sounds too small to matter, that's kind of the point. Missing brushing your teeth once doesn't lead to teeth decay, but being someone who no longer brushes their teeth and no longer prioritizes it does. It is about the little things that we do often, because when we're building a habit, what we're actually trying to do is adjust our identity. And you can't just do that by like saying, I'm someone who exercises. You actually have to have a loop where the brain and the body and everything is all connected in actually living the thing. So if you say, I'm going to go to the gym, and then you do go to the gym, you've kept that promise to yourself. You feel good about that. That momentum enables you to make the next part of the habit, which is I'm going to go to the gym again. And then that habit keeps growing, but your effort, your intention, your willpower doesn't need to. And instead, your identity is thriving in being someone who exercises regularly without having to think about what that actually means or how hard that used to be. Shrink the habit, build the identity. I think it was James Clear in his book who was like, your habit for exercise shouldn't be to go to the gym. It should just be to like lay your shoes out and then put your shoes on, and like breaks it down into this tiny little thing. It really doesn't need to be that small, but wherever you're at, just meet yourself there. Take the next small, embarrassingly small, achievable thing and allow yourself to start to build that identity. So number 2 is to stack it. Literally stack your habits. There are a bunch of things you're already doing, whether they're good for you or not, and you can stack the things that you're trying to do with them. One of the things that I recommended in a previous video was to have an intention for the day. So you're already drinking a coffee, why not attach setting your intention with drinking your coffee? You're more present for your coffee, you get your intention, you're always going to do that. Done. Dropping the kids off and you have this little window afterwards before you start work. Why not? I drop the kids and then I go for a 10-minute walk around the block. Like whatever it is that's going on in your life that you are already doing, habits that you already have, habits that don't need to be removed, are going to continue, that are already part of your identity and are good for you, attach one of the new ones to that. However that works for you. Not sure what they are? Well, awareness precedes action, so maybe just think about a couple of things that you typically do in your day, or run through what your day normally looks like and figure out, oh, these are some habits that I have and they're good for me and I like them and I'm not going to change them and they do sit with my identity well. And if all of that rings true, then those are the ones that you should attach these new habits that you're trying to build to. Little shameless plug here that identity piece and understanding all of this is one of the first things that I do with my one-on-one clients, but I'll give you as much as I can in these attention grabbing videos. And part 3 is to protect it, because you are going to have things get in the way. Life is gonna life. So the women who are doing really well in life are not the ones who have this perfect life where nothing ever goes wrong. They are the women who, despite the disruptions, know what the minimum viable kind of habit is. And the analogy that I use with my clients is you want to think of homeostasis. You're a home. You are the person within the home. Sometimes life is kicking your ass and you are laying on the floor. What is the bare minimum that you need to do to make sure that you're not digging into the foundations of your life and kind of finding a little pit to live in? Coming from someone who's lived in a little pit, you don't want to be there. And then what is the ceiling? What is the cap of what you need to get done to feel good without burning out? Most of us sit at one end of the spectrum or the other. We don't kind of bounce between the two. And then everything in between is sweet, homeostasis. That is where we are good to go. So when things go wrong, maybe the ceiling is 5 gym sessions a week and the floor is I moved my body. If the middle ground is being hit because things are happening, kids are sick, there's a work project, you're in the middle. The messy middle is where we live. The messy middle is where we thrive. Understand that and just be okay with it. And then number 3 is protect it, because things are going to get in the way. You're going to have a work deadline. There's going to be celebrations. People are going to get sick. Things are going to happen. The people who have this all together are not people who don't get disrupted. They're people who prioritize protecting the things that help them be who they need to be to do what they need to do. It kind of comes back to shrink it. What's the smallest possible version of this that you can do to keep momentum, to keep taking care of yourself, and to acknowledge that life is lifing around you, because it will. The goal when things get hard is not to keep progressing. You cannot be progressing all the time. That's like capitalism asking all of these businesses to continue to make more and more profit. It's not doing good things for the world. It won't do good things for you either. The goal is to continue to prioritize what actually matters within the realistic confines of your life. If your health and your fitness matters, then you will keep eating reasonably well and you will keep moving your body, but it probably won't be full macroed, caloried, sorted out, meal prepped food and 5 gym sessions that just went absolutely perfectly and we've progressively overloaded everywhere. And that's okay. Right now, at the time of filming this, we are entering winter and I have a son in daycare, so I am about to go through a lot of adjusting when it comes to things, because kids get sick, especially kids in daycare, and then I get sick, and then people in the gym are always sick, and I spend all my time there, and instead of ignoring that and then feeling like I am going to struggle for the next 3 months, I am fully prepared to adjust. I understand what my flaw is, and I'm not setting myself up for failure. I am prepared for continuity. If I have still been moving through winter, despite all of that, that's going to feel a lot better than expecting myself to hit this like all or nothing target, doing all or nothing and either burning out or feeling like a potato. So proof, it works. Here's a key thing though that is kind of more important than anything else in this video. Most people are trying to change their behavior over changing the way that they feel about themselves. because they think that if they can change their behavior, then they'll feel differently. You won't. You have to change the way that you feel about yourself in order to change your behavior. That's the whole piece about identity. If you are trying to do something because you think it's going to make you feel a certain way, it's going to be a struggle because you need to feel a certain way to behave a certain way. Start with the kind of person that you want to be and the kind of life that you want to live, not what you want your body to look like and how much you want to weigh. If you just decide that in order to have the body that you want to have, you need to go to the gym 5 times a week and then you can't do that, that's going to be a struggle. Whereas if you decide that you want to be the kind of person who feels comfortable in her skin, you can start doing that now while you start building a small, sustainable habit of going to the gym. Like embarrassingly small to start with, will build into getting where you want to go. Start with who you want to be, not what you want to look like and how much you want to weigh. Who do you actually want to be? Do you want to be someone who goes to the gym for the rest of her life? Because if you don't, then maybe don't start there, because if getting you there is not sustainable, then it's not really going to get you anywhere. I want to be someone who takes care of herself, who prioritizes her family, who makes an impact on the world. And I didn't get here by doing more. I got here by slowing down. I became a yoga teacher first because I needed to learn how to regulate my nervous system, how to take care of myself, how to slow down and do less. And then I became a PT because I really wanted to get strong and capable and to understand my body and what it needs through good times and bad. And boy, has that been powerful and useful. And then I became a life coach because that all shouldn't have been so hard. And now that I understand the brain a bit better, it really doesn't need to be. So hopefully you can take something away from this to make your journey just that little bit easier, because that's why I make these videos. I wish that I had something like this. I wish to be in the world what I had sought. So if this has been helpful, please do the free and kind thing, like, subscribe, comment, all the things, because not only does it help the algorithm, but it also helps me to know that what I'm doing is valuable. Another thing that's really valuable is taking action. I've given you the awareness piece. You've just watched this whole video. Thank you, by the way. Now I want you to take action. So the comment that you can put below if you don't know what to do, but you want to help me out, is what is a habit that you are going to shrink? What are you going to stack it to? And what's the way that you're going to make sure that you can protect it? How about I start? Because I can sense that you're a bit uncomfortable. So I am getting back into my yoga practice after a little bit of a break. So I am just giving myself just do yoga. And that could be 5 minutes, it could be an hour, I don't care. Just have to do it every day, find the space and the time for it. I'm stacking it to my bedtime routine because I've got a bit of space there at the moment. So if I have 5 minutes, I'll do 5 minutes. If I have 30 minutes, I'll do 30 minutes. So that's kind of a fun way to stack it. And I'm protecting it because I can do 5 minutes and that will not impact my sleep. So even if things are going completely catastrophically wrong, I can still do 5 minutes because that 5 minutes will help me sleep better, even if I go to bed later, and that better sleep is going to have flow on, flow on, flow on. So if you want to just steal mine, go for it, but just say so. Let's be honest. If this is the first video you're seeing of me, I would encourage you to go back and watch the last couple. We've talked about stress and about meal prepping and about mindset and all the things that I'm going to keep sharing. But if there's something specific you want from me, please let me know down below. Otherwise, I will see you in the next one.